Good morning, people. Welcome back to our English practice for today. I like to start my day always thinking that today is gonna be a new chance to be better and work harder to get where we want to get. And of course, I want to talk about always start the day with a reason. It is important always to have a reason why you wake up and why you want to start a new day. There is a phrase that says, "Another day, another dollar." That means that another day to work hard to get where we want to be, and of course to get money because we need money to buy some of the things we need in life. However, it's not really enough only to talk about money, right? But we have another chance to work forward our dreams, forward our goals, and the only way to do that is focusing and working harder day by day. So when I wanted to learn English back in my days, I thought that learning English is only something I will get automatically. I will have to just sit down and start listening to things and have friends who talk in English to me, and that will be enough for me to learn English. And somehow helped me a little bit to get some vocabulary, get some information, get some ideas how it worked. However, it was not enough. It is always important to think the reason why you want to be a bilingual speaker, why you want to have that second language. And for some of us, the reason was because, or the reason is because we want to travel. We want to go to another country. Most of the time, it is United States, and you want to have a normal conversation. You want to express your feeling. You want to request something you want, and you want to get back exactly what you said. And also you want to be able to have a nice conversation with anyone, right? It could be that you meet a new girl or you meet a new boy who you want to be friend with. You want to have a friendship relationship or anything else, right? But what you want is really to be able to express how you feel, and also, right, to be able to understand how they feel. And also, right, if you're gonna try to learn the culture, you want to learn their special days, why they do something, why they don't do something we do, or why they don't celebrate something we do here in El Salvador but they don't do it there, or the positive, right? So when you're thinking about traveling, that's one of the first things that come to your mind. I want to learn English. I want to have uh, that problem over. I don't want to be speaking or getting lost throughout the conversation. So that could be one of the reason. The second reason could be because you want to have a job that gives you a little bit more money than the rest of the jobs that you can find around your area. Most of the time, when you work into a position where you are using your English skills, then you should be paid a little bit more. Sometimes it's like double than a regular job, and that helps you, right, to give your family what they want or what you think they need. to survive, and of course, all those uh, extra things you want to provide to your family or friends. Um, and well, I think the next thing is thinking about getting a job position in which you're gonna be required to speak English, and if you don't have that ability, then even though you might be a master on doing something, but that something has to be spoken into an English language, or it has to be he has to have bilingual abilities, right? He has to speak Spanish and English. Then of course it will be a trouble for you to apply and to get to that position, and maybe you were getting around let's say $300 per month, and now with that position you will be getting 700, but unfortunately you didn't speak English, so then your um, your request, your submission will be denied, and then right you will be a lot uh, you will have a lot of regret not to have that extra skill. So speaking English is something that you can not only sit and get surrounded by people who speak English. You cannot only go to the classroom and stay there just listening to the people and just having friends who speak English. Is not about it, right? You have to socialize, you have to speak a lot, you have to give your best to improve your English, and to get those connections, to get that help you understand what they are saying, and or what they are trying to mean sometimes into the phrasal verbs, right? Because phrasal verbs confuse a lot of people into what's the real meaning behind of that phrase. However, that is a matter of practice and repetition, right? We have to read, we have to speak, we have to listen carefully. We use all of those areas to learn English or any other language. One of the reasons also here in El Salvador we want to learn English is because we want to apply to a call center position or work position. Call centers throughout the last years, they have been growing extremely good, and that's positive for the country. Normally in San Salvador, the capital, there are a lot of people who speak English, but if you're not a friend of them, you might not know if they speak English or not. But then sometimes they change the they change of the company, right? They go to another company, and then maybe you are working in that company and you meet that person for the very first time. You talk to them, and then you realize that they do speak English, and you have seen him or her throughout the last 2 years in the bus, but you didn't know they were able to speak English, and that they had a good level of learning English speaking, right? So call centers are given around 30% above the basic salary in El Salvador. So yeah, it's not really enough to cover a lot of things, but at least you feel like you have enough to cover all those necessities and all those things you have to pay in the monthly bill. Also, call centers they are growing, therefore you are able to grow inside of the company. So as much as you learn or as much as you read, um, sometimes in El Salvador we like to have a lot of things, but we don't want to pay the price. We don't want to do the extra effort. We don't want to run the extra mile to get where we want. So you stay in the same position for many years without even trying to apply to a new higher level. So yes, if you're trying to get into a call center industry, first work hard every day because you need to speak at any moment, at any time in English. I remember that when I went to take my breakfast or I went to take lunch, even though we were outside of the building or the working area, we still spoke in English. We were speaking in English at all time, even though we were on break, even though we were not talking with the client. We were joking in English. So we didn't put any limitation to our learning process. And when we arrived back to our houses and with our families, then we started to talk in Spanish, right? But in the building or even outside of the building, if we were with friends, we didn't speak in Spanish. So that's a big challenge for every one of you who is trying to learn English. You have to try and you have to do your best to keep talking in English at all time, in the morning, evening, at 9, at any moment, right? At 9, night, I'm sorry. And of course, repetition is something necessary. It's something demanding. We need to repeat the things over and over again. All right? Don't worry about the time. You have enough time to practice and to learn. You are gonna make it. You are gonna learn English. But don't stop. Keep working into your dreams. All right? I hope to see you next time. This was just my English practice for today. However, I like to share some of my ideas about how I feel about learning English and some of the things we need to keep in mind to grow and learn this beautiful language that is English. See you soon.